welcome to day one GDEX wrap-up.
Ish.
Yeah, we got a couple more things to do tonight, but in terms of show floor, this is a wrap-up. So we saw...
We saw a decent chunk today, actually.
We didn't necessarily play everything, but we saw the whole floor.
We saw the whole floor. I think I talked to, including interviews we did, probably like 10 devs, 11 devs, somewhere in that number.
Yeah, and I sat down as a relative term. I was left standing, but I played probably 5 games on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did a couple interviews, and then saw one talk.
By one, Adam, I believe the commercial said Boreas, I think was what we saw in that one commercial.
That was pretty good. Had a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the Red Bull girls playing Street Fighter V and choosing the bustiest characters that are in Street Fighter.
And the best was when the girls realized they chose that.
Well, the one I think knew what she was doing.
The other one had no clue.
Because the one that was playing Cammy was actually...
decent.
Passable.
Better than I thought she'd be.
Yeah.
The other one, exactly what I thought she'd be.
Had no idea what was going on, chose a character, and then all of a sudden the character select screen goes away, and she's like, oh!
Where did those girls go, by the way? Because they just disappeared after that.
Yeah, they ran out of Red Bull and they left.
But the truck is still there, so you think...
The truck's still there. The DJ was gone.
That's what I mean. So what the... Because in my head, you paid them for the entire day. You didn't, like...
Yeah, and they probably paid him for tomorrow, too, so...
We get to play watch more. Apparently the guy walked out at one point and said, hey man, I got different games on there too, just let me know.
Yeah.
It was the most...
That was good. I was like, okay.
Yep, this is what I pictured.
Yeah.
The guy's probably like, yeah, I play those games. I got the Call of Duty and the Street Fighter. Like, that's what it sounded like to me.
I mean, if he genuinely had Call of Duty, I probably would have stopped and played, but...
But, like, to me, that's the way that guy acted. About what I pictured in my head is that.
Also, totally fit what I was thinking of, like,
Red Bull DJ?
I probably could have told you exactly what he was going to look like. And he did.
And sounded like?
Yeah. He may have been from the area, he probably was, but...
Okay, but still.
Yeah.
But back on the floor. So I think there's a couple games that I want to talk about. The one that I played for a decent bit and you talked to the guys was End of the Line. The train one.
Yeah, the train one.
So it's Beefy Star Games. It was interesting. It's basically you go to a station, spend resources there to upgrade your trains. Then you basically hop back in the train, go to the next station. You basically continue this loop. Game was, would say, a little rough. Technically,
early.
It's an early build, right? And you could see ways they can improve real quickly. Literally, was spending a couple of weeks probably. So like,
I'm also impressed. The guy right before us that was playing. The guys from the studio said he was the first one to break the game.
Right.
And then you broke it, like...
instantly.
30 minutes later.
But also, I'm going to say, I think the game is still base fun. Like, it's fun.
It looked fun.
I think the loop there, from what I was able to feel of it, I think the loop can be very strong if they add more reasons to upgrade besides, like, the turn or generators, maybe add some enemy variety, tying up some clipping issues. I think there's a lot of fun in that game.
Yeah. It looked fun.
Yeah, it's normal, kind of like that side-scrolling shooting style, in the era of like Broforce and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
I almost wonder because like they were talking to them about I was talking to them about a bunch of stuff that they could do, and apparently they have looked at or are working on it. But like, really, there's no reason to even worry about the train. It's just like it could have been anything. Basically, you're just on
a moving platform that you can upgrade. You're on a ship. It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. So, which I guess I didn't really pay close attention. Were you getting a new flatbed every time you visited a station?
No, I could buy them.
Oh, you could buy
them. I just bought a second one for the hell of it.
Okay.
So what it is you could buy flatbeds, and then when I was in that upgrade menu, you could buy different types of beds, and then you can then build them, and then pending, you'd build different things with them.
Gotcha.
So I bought the one when it crashed is when I just bought the generator one. Not the generator, the turret one.
It was like a 3D printer.
Basically, all I did was 3D print turrets, and then there's a menu where you can adjust on your train where stuff goes.
Yeah.
And so it basically gave me a hot, quick way, so like turrets got destroyed or whatever. And also the other thing is, once I did that, turrets were a base price of 30. On my train, they were now 10. So it's investing it too.
Yeah. Well, in the menu when you pulled up for like the build menu looked a little weird.
So I think the menu probably gets a little work.
Yeah.
When I read it, it made sense, but I probably would have ordered stuff differently and explained when all down.
Not even the tech tree, but like the actual menu when you were putting
that
stuff
was
on the
a little.
train. So that just looked like it was a stand-in.
Yeah.
Like no UI or anything.
The one that physically where you upgraded the train, the one I had issues
The tech
with.
tree was pretty cool. Actually.
The tech tree, the issue I had though was a straight line where to me it should have been like bed, where it was like turret, should have been like turret and turret 2. And so it should have been like a line and then a corresponding sideways lines if you were just upgrading a tech. Because it made it look like
it went off to the side on a couple of them.
But it didn't do that. Like, it was just random. There was no, turret 1 and 2 on top of each other, and it was like another bed on top of them. Which makes it look a little bit weird when you'd be like, oh, what can I get?
Yeah.
There's no visual quick way to kind of scan.
Yeah, and I didn't see, did they have icons for...
No, it's just...
Okay, which
I don't know if I expect.
Something they're working on.
Right.
But that was a cool game. Yeah, there's stuff that... I mean, it just needs like a...
It just needs polish.
Yeah.
I think if you spend a couple months just polishing it, probably the next show they go to, it's going to be a nice, way more stable build that just shows better, even changing nothing.
Yeah.
From a game point of view.
And if they come to GDEX next year...
It'll probably be in a way better spot.
Yeah, it'll probably be basically ready to go.
Another game that I think was fun that we both played was Matchpoint, which is a game that's out on Steam, but it's from IGA Columbus, or Cincinnati. And
one of them.
Yeah, but it was the Ohio chapter of IGA. Like some people there built it. It was very fun. It was literally Pong, but you can interact with it and you move the paddles in any direction. You can either super kick it or you have a tether.
It felt like, what was that game on Xbox? It was like hashtag I drew a box.
iGarb or whatever. iDark.
I drew a red box.
Yeah, hashtag iDark.
Yeah. It felt like that.
It was fun. Like
mixed with like Windjammers.
Yeah, I think it was very fun. It's a simple party. I mean, nothing complicated, but it was definitely a fun thing to poke at.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you could see that game being fun. Very hectic.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that they should have done when you have multi-balls, that it doesn't just end.
I should have done for all 3 balls, or if anything.
Because like we played, it was called hockey, where it was just like a 3/4 closed box, so you couldn't score from the top or the bottom or the back.
You had to score from the front.
You score from the front.
And that was the same one we did where we had 3 balls, and the catch was we also made it so you couldn't cross the line. You couldn't cross your center ball, which I didn't like that.
Well, did he set that, or did
that
we
was
do
one
it
of
by
the rules
accident?
when you were just going through 50 rules. That was one of them.
Okay. Yeah, that probably.
I wasn't a big fan of that.
It didn't need to be like what I was doing was I was just tethering and then launching them over.
Right, but I just enjoyed because there was something kind of fun about like when you would do that and just kind of run with the ball and stuff too, and you kind of lose some of that feel.
But yeah, we did 2v1. I ended up winning. I was the one.
And then actually we won the one time. So me and you
played.
You played. I won. Me, you, and the guy played. We won, and then me and the guy and you played, and you won.
Yeah. And we did a bunch of modifiers for our final game.
Yeah, we were big. The ball was small.
Everything was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They need a Young Bucks reference though for the super kick.
What was the game that you played that we did an interview for?
Aeon's End.
No, I was going to talk about the other one. Okay, go on Aeon's End. How was that?
It was good. It was a deck builder. It had a really interesting thing where I think you had 11... Well, you gained more cards, but you started with, like, 8 of them, I think.
Okay.
And that's your cards. And the draw order is going to be the same as your discard order.
Oh, that's interesting. So,
So,
you're
like-
playing that matters.
Yeah. I played that for a little bit. Then we interviewed the publisher of it.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, they do. Handelabra does a lot of physical to digital.
Oh, that's very interesting.
So the Aeon's End is actually a physical deck builder game. And their new one that's on Indiegogo is the same thing. It's a
Okay.
physical to digital.
The other game I was thinking about it's the one that I mostly did the talking in the interview, but you played. It was the game with the spirit. And you kind of
Fall and Fracture?
yeah, Fall and Fracture,
It was a bummer because it was a wireless controller.
and it just fried that controller.
Yeah.
Too many signals.
Yeah. It was just signal interference. I mean, it's really tough to fix that without being hardwired into either the PC or console.
So looking at it and not playing it, it seems it looked like it played fun, but like the map to me, like it felt purposeless. I don't know how to put it. Like it felt like you were just moving a lot of times for moving's sake.
Well, I was skipping through the story too, so I had no idea what was going on.
But in general, like it felt like there was so much openness between the objectives on that map.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely feel that it's a work in progress and going to be a Zelda-like.
How was the combat when you got into it in that game, though?
Just mash X.
'Cause it looked like you were like going boop boop, okay, boom boop.
It was
okay.
like 3 or 4 hits for every guy. And you have a pushback, a knockback, and a roll, but the roll is like a Dark Souls roll, where it doesn't affect the enemy, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, the art style is really good. It almost feels like what's the name of the game?
The name of the game.
That it looks like it's. I never played it, but it was like a 16-bit.
Celeste?
I never played Celeste, so I have no idea. I don't know if it looks like Celeste or not.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the game you're thinking of is.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now. But the reason I call it more of like a Zelda instead of like a Metroidvania is those are like 2D side scrolling. This was more of like 2.5. Like there was no depth to anything, but the camera wasn't vertical. It was kind of tilted.
It was that 45-degree angle.
Which is like a stereotypical Zelda camera angle.
So there are points maybe it's more 90, but you can go up with the camera well.
Yeah, there was a jarring camera cut.
I didn't mind it in the idea of it. I just think it was implemented as well.
Well, and if that's supposed to be like it signals something, that's perfectly fine.
Because you got your attention.
Yeah, there was just nothing.
My issue is
there,
that wasn't clear until he said it out loud that was like a barricade to a new area.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't clear. It's cool for me. They changed the environment from like a grass area to a concrete area, but there was no clarity to me that you can't get there immediately.
Yeah.
It's cool from a transition, but not like there should be a gate or something.
Yeah, there was also like apparently I'd unlocked an area but could never find it.
Yeah, also that was interesting.
And I went everywhere that I had been.
Again, I think there's something here to this game. I don't think it's there quite yet.
Yeah.
I think this one they were saying is out. I think either going to be out.
It's out next year or early 2021.
Right, so there's some time left on this game, so. Yeah.
And in terms of art, I don't think it really needs anything.
No, I think it looks fine. I think it looked cool. Their animations, I think, played well.
Yeah, it's got a cool system where it's like you go into a spirit world, but it wasn't really clear why you would do that.
And when you did it, some of the rules of the spirit world weren't the most clear in the world.
Yeah. There was one where like you can get through some barriers, but then I got up to one and tried it and couldn't get through it.
Yeah,
so
that was weird to me.
I was like, okay. But yeah, the combat was good. Relatively good. the movement when the controller was working felt fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the circumstance of it. It also, like, it was just a bad controller. It was a Logitech wireless 360 controller.
Which wasn't probably the nicest controller in the world.
Yeah, the stick was super, super slushy. If they just had, like, a bog standard Xbox One Bluetooth controller.
Or just a 360 controller there.
So much better.
I don't... So this is just going to be a weird me rant.
Because they had an Xbox controller on the other station.
Hear me out, okay? When you're going to do a demo like that, just buy 10 360 controllers. They're like $10 a pop now, $20 a pop. They're the nicest controller in the market for the price.
Yeah.
An Xbox 360 controller is nicer than any generic Xbox One controller you can buy. Not an Xbox One controllers, but like the generic brand ones.
Yeah.
A 360 controller that is wired that's used is probably nicer.
Yeah. Or, I mean, like, that game didn't need a stick.
I understand, though, from this type of show, giving people something like that, a controller is probably more like there's a good chunk of people there.
Yeah. Also, they could have just done, what was the game next to them? It was like a 10-player...
Oh, yeah.
Like, we didn't get to play it.
I was not waiting in that line, and I didn't fully understand what the line was.
Pretty nasty line. But they were using the PS4...
Mini controllers?
Mini controller? Something like that?
Oh, there's a bunch of companies are making those now, based off of what it looked like.
Yeah. They could have used that. That was actually a pretty cool-looking controller.
Yeah. By all accounts, the controller is not the problem of that Mini.
Well, but it's not the classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a PS4
layout.
Yeah, it's a DualShock 4, just without the touchpad
and without the R2L2.
The wings.
Yeah.
No, I think they had the
buttons.
The buttons on them.
Just no wings.
Yeah, I just didn't have the
protruding.
I guess you would call them wings. Yeah, the arms. Yeah, you could have just done that because those have got to be $30.
Yeah, but I understand saving money too. That's why I was saying some like 360 controllers are dirt cheap at this point.
Yeah. Although finding 360 controllers with USB is a little tough.
They all are, I thought. They're all USB.
I thought they had some weird...
No, that's Xbox One controllers with the adapter.
No, the wired ones I thought had some weird... thing. Well, they had an Xbox 360 4PC controller, which I think is what I'm thinking of.
I think that's what you're thinking of.
So...
That was the nice part of the controllers. They just plug and play. Yeah. That was the first time Microsoft did that.
And then... So that was pretty much right at the beginning when we played.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. We kind of showed around the VR game that you actually demoed a couple months ago.
Yeah.
By Shell Games. Until You Fall, I think.
Until You Fall. Yeah, we talked to those guys last night, or I did. And I'm like, yeah, we'll check the game out.
Walks by it.
We walk by it, I'm like, I've played this game before.
Does it look better at least? Is it the same build, do you think?
They said they added some new weapons.
Okay.
I told them I played in August, so I don't know.
Because remind me, is the game in early access, I think? Is what I thought it was?
I think it's in an alpha state.
So
I don't know if you can get into it. We've got a...
Because the build we got was on Steam. I know that. Like, I gave you a Steam code for that.
Yeah. And they were running Steam on their laptop. So,
right.
But that code's for the full game, so...
But I don't know what that means in the dev cycle.
Yeah.
I played a visual novel, a bit of, also.
While you were playing that visual novel, I was talking to the dev about Hitman.
Yeah, I heard that. I could hear that. I don't remember the name of the novel. Do you?
No. We know the name of the studio.
Because that was Basilisk Games.
Yeah.
It was interesting. The thing I always stick with, the sound in that one is actually really nice. Like, I just point to, like, there's the javelin thing, like, javelins are coming at you, and they just kept playing a loop. Like, it sounded like it. Like, they actually had some cool audio stuff in there. I think there's some fun animations.
Yeah.
It's a visual novel, like.
Yeah. We played games from Indiana University.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I assume it's their capstone games. They didn't say that, but I assume, based on looking at the games.
Yeah. Mine was rough.
So was mine. It's college games, I expect that.
Well, but, like, yours looked like...
A game?
A decent game, like...
It was a little empty, like, I was in a ship, and then eventually I found, like, a shark, and it killed me. Like, that was really it.
Yeah.
But it did look cool, and it played a little rougher, But once you get into it, it's fine, because it's also a ship, so you have to get used to driving a ship.
Yeah. Mine was like some weird point-and-click thing, where like you had to give people the right potion, and like so there were certain scenarios. I had the exact same scenario from 3 different people.
Okay.
It was like, rats are invading my kitchen. Like 1, 2, and 3. Like the first 3 encounters I had were those.
Nice.
The interesting thing was it had 4 slots for potions, and it randomized them for each person. So, like, I could have had 2 strength, 1 charm, and 1 willpower.
Do you use the potion on yourself? Or
No, you give them to them.
And then they use it to solve their problem?
Yeah.
So do you give rat people strength? What do you give them?
Yeah, I gave them strength, and it seemed to be working.
Charm, they come back as the Rat King? Like, I don't understand.
The UI was weird because, like, the colors for the potions were tiny. And they had these big circles, so I'm guessing that the circle is supposed to be the color.
My assumption is UI didn't scale correctly on a monitor.
I don't think that was the problem. Because it was a graphic, so, like, if that's the case, then everything would have been tiny.
Yeah.
Because there's, like, a backing graphic for the potion that you're supposed to click. And then, yeah, it just ended. There was no dialogue. Like, it just popped somebody up and then nothing. And I looked over to the guy and he's like, yeah, that's where it ends. And actually, you and I ended, like, right at the same time, so...
Yeah, because I let myself die at a certain point.
Yeah.
We just realized, did I sleep on the thing, or was this the cover?
They made the bed.
Oh, okay. I don't understand how beds work.
Obviously. No, it looks like you... Well, you did take a nap. It looks like you were under the sheet.
Okay, this is
It looks like that's just some weird, like,
lending.
top sheet, maybe?
Maybe. Besides that. Otherwise, yeah, we saw the Adam Boys panel, we said. Then tonight, we're going to a mixer. We're going to stop by the dance party. Then we're going to, like, a late after party.
Jackbox and drink party.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like, so.
Which you seem okay with.
Yeah. I love the Jackbox scene. The Adam Boys panel, let's just quick talk about that. Was there anything in that panel that you didn't already know?
I don't know if I've heard the Tim Schafer story. Like, obviously, I understood roughly, but I don't know.
Yeah, I remember hearing that there was a lot of weird stuff going on.
But I don't think I ever heard specifics of it.
Yeah.
I also, obviously, stuff like, I think there are other stories in there I assume you haven't heard, like the private jet story.
Yeah, the private jet story was new, but wasn't that a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a question, so it wasn't part of the panel, but...
The other big thing was, I never heard the origins of the commercial. The Sharon commercial.
I had heard that story.
Which is such a fucking... I still can't process. And it worked. Like,
Yeah.
marketing-wise, it worked.
Well, and they didn't know about the Xbox thing yet.
No, they did. He said they did.
Well, that was happening as they were flying down.
Oh, yeah. So it was literally like, oh, let's do this quick.
Yeah.
So they released that video, I remember. It was like, during their panel, basically, they released that video commercial.
It was right before their show.
Right, so literally it was a couple hours in between.
Yeah.
They shot it and released it.
Yeah, so... that was really interesting.
I liked the Adam Boyd story of he thought he was Nordic his entire life.
He is Nordic.
He thought he was...
Iceland is considered part of the
Then what was he?
He thought he was Norwegian.
Norwegian. He thought he was Norwegian his entire life, and his mom was like, you mean Icelandic? And she's like, what?
Which came from CCP inviting him to... I think it's called Eve Fest.
Okay. What is the name of that fucking crazy person who owned like a third of the EVE economy? The Mondoon?
Can't remember.
But the whole point, though, he talked about how he was going to have a meeting with the CEO of CCP.
Boys is going to have a meeting with the CEO of CCP to set up, I'm guessing, some sort of business deal.
Because there was the CCP first-person shooter on PlayStation 4.
500.
Yes. I assume it was tied to that. I was making an assumption, but I assume it might be tied to that.
Yeah.
And literally it was... apparently there was this man at the time who owned a third of the EVE economy. And apparently he'd cancel a meeting. He's like, why? And we went... And I think his name was like the Mondu. He's like, because the Mondu is calling. And literally canceled the meeting. Just talked to this random kid with 2 bouncers, apparently. He was like a
Well,
lawyer.
I doubt he was a kid.
But he's like a lawyer. He's like a 27-year-old lawyer out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which fuck.
So he has a ton of time.
I don't understand Eve. I just don't.
I think Eve is like the ultimate time sink, from what I've heard.
But it's the ultimate like market game. Like, it's so weird.
Apparently, though, like if you have any sort of like macroeconomics knowledge,
You're set.
you're set, and you never have to pay for the game because you can buy time with the in-game currency.
Right.
So you just run a business.
So, but back to the panel. Did you? I enjoyed the Adam Boys panel. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't think there was really anything.
New, but I enjoyed
Yeah.
him kind of putting in this condensed form of like.
Yeah. His Dave Lang impression was pretty good.
It was pretty good. He's like this giant 6'4" him into that. Hey, why'd you do that? Is that how we do business now?
Oh, no, Adam's 6'4".
But we call him, and he's calling, and it was like somebody's like, "This is how we do business now."
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of the people there didn't know who he was.
Which was my favorite. Was like the one guy's like, "How'd you know him?" He was like, "Killer Instinct's my favorite game." I was like, "That's a weird way." I would never have combined like Adam Boys with Killer Instinct in my head
Yeah.
ever. I obviously now
Because Iron Galaxy.
right, but like in my head, that just wouldn't be connection.
I mean, maybe it's because you and I are older than it seems like half of the audience.
Because to me, I know Iron Galaxy is Adam Boys now, but I still in my head timed to PlayStation.
Yeah,
into it.
I'm wondering if that's why, because of like you and I knew him from PlayStation.
like whenever
That's where I first remember the name.
right, because it's from like 2012 to like I think he left in like 2015 or 2014.
15.
But the whole point though, like that era, like he was, and you talked about it too. He didn't want to be, but he was one of the faces.
Yeah, he launched the PS4. Did a bunch of E3. Well, bunch of, I think it was 3 or 4 E3s.
He led PSX.
Yeah. So that was cool. But yeah, people have like, how do you know him? Like, he asked like who's fans of like
Yeah,
a couple different things, and like very few hands went up.
which was just surprising to me.
I'm like, this guy was like
Decently famous.
VP of a ton of stuff at PlayStation.
Like
was
to
on
me,
the E3 stage.
like to me when I say like names in PlayStation that I would assume people would refer to as PlayStation would be him, Neil Drunkman.
Drunkman.
Yeah, so that's like
Drunkman.
Shuhei Yoshida. Like to me, no matter where these people go, they're just gonna be tied to PlayStation in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. Shu, Kaz Hirai.
Gio Corsi. Like there's these
Gio
people who
Corsi.
just became the face that you can't
Yeah.
unbecome the face that easily.
Yeah.
Especially when you go into like Iron Galaxy. I know he does a lot of stuff, but like he's not as front facing anymore. So like it's really hard to get rid of your face.
Yeah.
You're not changing your brand in that way.
Also, I almost asked the question about E3 2016, I believe. The Dave Lang phone number.
Yeah, is that a real phone number?
Well, no, that was Dave Lang's real phone number. But the story of Johnny Vignacchi tweeting out Dave Lang's phone number, thinking they could get people to call in to
Isn't that when he got banned from Twitter too?
Vignacchi?
Yeah, because
No.
one of them got banned from because I was on Giant Bomb too. It was like during the ban he walked on. They're like, save this man from Twitter jail.
No, Vignacchi's girlfriend at the time took his phone away or whatever,
Oh yeah.
so that he couldn't do anything like that. That was the next year. But
Which was going on that tangent second. My favorite Giant Bomb E3 segments are always when it's like Adam Boyes, Dave Lang, Johnny Vignacchi, and like Jeff Gerstmann, and like literally it's it and like one or two other people.
it's always only ever them.
But like literally, can
Oh,
you?
this year they didn't do that. They did the Kenny Omega bit, which was hilarious.
Which is good. But like in general, you get that. I go, literally when you combine those people, you better hope all of them have secure fucking jobs they can't get fired from, because otherwise one of them's gonna get fired.
Yeah, and now that Vignacchi's at Nintendo,
He has to control himself, probably.
probably not going to be able to do that. I mean, I'm surprised Disney let him do it.
But at that point, like, I don't think Disney understood what their games division did.
Still, he represents Disney. Like,
Yeah,
his job title was
Disney Vice
Disney.
President Relations, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think it had the word Disney in title.
So the fact that Disney didn't like step in and, or maybe they just thought, how many people are actually going to see this?
They're like, what's a giant bomb? They're like,
I know what a giant bomb is. It's called the Moab.
but yeah, so you enjoying GDEX so far?
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting people.
You haven't been to a games conference before, have you?
No, I've been to a couple of different conferences, but not a games conference. So
This is a little more like consumer facing than like I go to GDC every year, and that's
that's devs.
that's like 95% devs and 5% media. Like that's it. And that
I mean, it's
environment.
called Game Developers Conference.
Which media still goes because once in a while they announce or show stuff like Oculus every year and whatever.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it is like literally like developers. Which I'm gonna say it too. So the image in your head of developers you have of that is not as true. Where like the stereotypical people who go to the conferences that are consumer facing might be. Which is why it's interesting.
Yeah. Also, judging by the number of costumes on the show floor, there's definitely going to be a furry orgy tonight.
I think that's when we cut this for the day. Thanks to everyone for continuing coverage of GDEX. Remember, we were here still tomorrow, so more stuff being thrown on this podcast, whatever this is going to be. More interviews tomorrow, more show floor stuff to see, we'll play a few more games.
Talk about our panel. I have a feeling our panel's not going to be able to be recorded.
We could try. We're still going to try.
Yeah.
We could get what we can from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catch you all next time.